to get started as an adult content creator. If you haven't watched my previous video that goes through what this series is all about, definitely go ahead and give it a watch. I'll give it like a plug-in right above. And also, if you haven't figured out yet, if you've weighed the pros and cons, whether you want to be an adult content creator and you haven't yet started, definitely check out the other plug-in video above. Now with that out of the way, let's get started into all about building your brand and how to get started as an adult content creator. So you're watching this video today because you either are already an adult content creator or you've decided that I think this is something that I want to do. I want to be an adult content creator. How do I get started? The number one thing I think that's very important in starting any business is your brand and building your brand. What is your brand? And that can be a little hard to figure out at first. Like, you know, you want to be an adult content creator. Am I just like a performer that is myself? Like, what does that mean? Well, you're gonna want to have a brand, and do not worry, you don't have to get stuck on like your first written up version of this brand. You can always grow and evolve, and that is highly encouraged. You'll want to have growth and room for growth. I mean, even me personally, like, I started out as like the all-natural girl next door, and then I evolved into cosplay. And I'm still evolving every single day in what kind of content I am making and shifting my brand a little bit here and there. Still being authentically me, but showing, I guess, more diverse aspects of myself. And you can do that too, but I think it's really important that you at least establish your starting point of what your brand looks like. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is get out a pen and paper or whatever you really enjoy writing on. I mean, for me, I think there's something about literally using pen and paper to write out my ideas and brainstorm. Writing out your ideas is one of the most important things you can do when you are owning or running a business, a small business, because ideas are very important. Some ideas will take off and really grow your business. Most of them are just ideas that might not go anywhere and you might never try them. But no matter what, writing down as many ideas as you can is amazing and a great thing to include into your workflow as an adult content creator, or again, any entrepreneur really. So while you're brainstorming what your brand is, you can think of things like, what is my color scheme? What kind of charms or animals are associated with my brand? For me, starting out, I was very much into the reds because reds are very like lusty and passionate and strong, and I really have converted a little bit into softer pastel pinks and blues and that kind of thing, because I don't know, that's just where I've evolved with my brand. And of course, your brand can shift and change all the time. There was a time where I was reds, blacks, whites, and grays, and that was amazing and I loved it. But I did shift away from that a little bit too. So what kind of colors really represents you? What's that vibe? What's that feeling? You're trying to get a feel and a mood for what your brand is and how you're going to be representing that brand. Other things might include a specific flower. For me, Mila Rose, I was representing myself with a red rose. Now I am also using pink roses because I have changed my color scheme a little bit, my mood, my temperature, if you will. So these are the kind of things that you can think of too. You can also take into consideration your geography. Where are your roots? What is your background? Where are you born and raised? Where are your parents from? What is your heritage? This can also help. I am half French, so I was utilizing like some Paris themes here and there, but I really don't know much about like France at all, especially because like my French side is Canadian French and I don't even know how to speak French, even though I am half French and my dad could speak French fluently. So that was like part of me, but I didn't really feel connected to it, so it didn't really hold for me. So when you're thinking about your heritage, if you have heritage roots that are very strong to you, then I would definitely write that down and maybe encircle it, be like, I'm very much this, like that is me, that is my background, my heritage, it's very important to me and I live this way culturally, then that is really important, and you can brainstorm these kind of things and write these down. What are the characteristic traits that make you you? What do you think that is, and what do other people say that is? Just play around with these ideas, right? Build up your foundation by having all of these keywords, create these keywords, have meaning behind these keywords, and then start building these words and ideas together. How are customers gonna really see you? Because when you're advertising a certain brand and a customer is like, yes, she is that brand and that is what I want, the customers will find you. The customers will find you, and if that is what they're looking for and you are that girl, then they're going to want to follow you and they're going to want to invest in you. As part of your brand, you might also want to start thinking about what is your niche. What is something that is going to stand out with you particularly that you are going to be selling? Again, you can shift and grow over time, and you can start out with one thing and you can incorporate whatever you want as time goes. I mean, you can even throw things at the wall and see what sticks, so to speak. So maybe you already have a very favorite content type that you really enjoy doing, or maybe you have some features about your body that really stand out, and those are the kinds of things that you want to focus on in your content. Whatever it is, you can brainstorm what you think your niche is, or at least your starting out niche. And of course, if you don't have a niche too, like, I think that's fine as long as you have your brand image figured out. I think that's also fine, and then you can just experiment with videos and content to see what you enjoy. But trying to at least kind of figure out where you fall in terms of niches can really help you and place you, and then people find you. So once you have your brand and your niche, you are going to need to figure out your name. And the name is kind of a hard one because it's something that's going to stick. People are going to call you your name. Your name is going to be probably included in all of your social medias and your email and all of this. So your name is really important, and it's going to stick with you. And it's not something that you're really going to want to change, because if you're changing your name, people can have a harder time looking for you. So I would not pick a name with the idea that I'm probably going to be changing this name in the future. I mean, you can certainly do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. The only time when that really works anyway is if you're going through like a massive glow up and all of a sudden your audience is just booming because your name change and all of the different things that are also new and different and expanding and growing that are associated to that name. And that is if you are coming from a much, much smaller audience. But much preferably, figure out your name and make sure that you actually want to use this name. This is going to be another brainstorming process, and you might not be able to get the one name that you really truly want. I would highly recommend you Google your name and maybe even YouTube your name and all sorts of things. Maybe try to see if you can make accounts with certain names. Like when you're trying to create an email address or Twitter or Instagram, whatever, you can type in a certain name and see if it's taken, and then you can write down, this is check for this social media, but for this social media, I can't use this variation. Like maybe you can compromise on doing a bit of a variation. I mean, even my name, I did have to do a variation with my name. Also note that even if you got exactly what you want, because of the work that we do, there's always the possibility that your Twitter or your Instagram might be permanently deleted and you need to create a new account. So you don't have to get super attached to your Twitter and your Instagram usernames, but I would try your best to get as close as you can to your name, your work name, as well as consistency amongst your social media platforms. That is really important. The other thing that I would encourage you to try and get as well is a closer name to something that is more recognizable. That could be in a first and a last name, like Mila and Rose. Again, first and last names could be a little bit harder to find because there's so many people out there nowadays, so having like a little bit more of a complicated name like MissMilaRose's can be a little findable. But do try to find a name and come up with a name that is going to be easy to remember, because if there is a member that really enjoyed you and they didn't remember what your name was, and they, for the life of them, they can't remember your name, it's going to be more challenging for you to gain and sustain customers. So having a name that is recognizable and it's not easily forgettable is also very important. So just things to keep in mind when you're trying to develop and create your name. The other two things that you're going to need when you are creating your identity is your birthday, which should be fake. At least one of these numbers, the month, the day, or the year. It's just safer. I would highly recommend you using a fake birthday. And the last thing that you're going to want is your bio. And your bio is going to be pulling all of that information that makes up your brand, who you are, what your niche is, what you're selling. Try not to make this sound like a sales pitch though. Try to make it sound very much like what you're all about. And that's your bio. Your bio is going to be something that you can fill in on pretty much every site you sign up to, every social media platform. So it's important to have one on hand, and you can copy and paste it whenever you like. You can also include emojis in these. A lot of social media platforms and even other sites will allow emojis in your bio, and they do help you stand out. So including emojis, and you can also go through the emojis on like Twitter and be like, okay, which emojis are representative of my brand? Which emojis do I want to utilize in my bio that are going to be reflective of who I am and my brand and my niche? Finally, when we have all of that information figured out, we are going to be signing up to all of those platforms in 3 different categories: your email, your social media, and your working platforms. You will need at least one email, and I do recommend a Gmail, just because Gmail, you can actually do like the login with Google login, and you can have a Google account. It will be attached to your YouTube. A lot of other platforms like Twitter and TikTok and all these platforms can log you in using your Google login already. So I think it's really important to have a Gmail account specifically. Of course, you don't have to have a Gmail account. That would just be my recommendation. I have to have 2 email accounts because my original main email account is my Hotmail, and then I was like, oh, I need a Gmail for all of these other things. So I do recommend a Gmail account. That is the most important, I believe, for all of the email accounts that you can choose from. For your social media, I would say Twitter is the #1. You can't really go without having a Twitter. You need a Twitter. This is going to be your #1 way to build your traffic and your platforms, especially because you'll be able to get away with more NSFW content on this platform versus pretty much any other high traffic platform. Every other social media platform after Twitter is completely your choice. These social media platforms include a YouTube account, a TikTok, an Instagram, and a Reddit. Pretty much any account that is social media that has the traffic is going to help you out. Just be very careful, because with social media platforms, excluding Twitter, you have to be very careful in what you're posting. Usually it has to be very SFW. That doesn't mean it won't help you drive your traffic and build your audience. All social media platforms can help you build your social media following. #3, the sites that you are going to be working on. Now, since you are going to be a video content creator, I highly recommend the high traffic platforms for receiving video sales. And these ones, in my experience, have been ManyVids, Clips for Sale, and recently I have signed up on LoyalFans, and it has amazing traffic for videos. The traffic for LoyalFans is at least a lot better than a lot of other platforms that I have tried out and that I do receive payouts from, which include I Want Clips, Amateur Porn Clips, also known as AP Clips, and BentBox. Out of all the platforms I listed here for the video sales, BentBox has the least traffic, and so you might not want to even bother with BentBox for a video platform. But as they always say, anytime you're developing a video collection and you are not utilizing a platform, you are losing out on sales. With the exception of BentBox here, I would sign up for all of the other platforms I've listed and do regular uploads on each of this platform. Every single time you are uploading a video, you upload it to all of these other platforms, because it's just a matter of copy and pasting the title, description, and also uploading your thumbnail and your teaser. So these 3 categories are your essentials, but you can also create a fan subscriber-based platform as well. The 2 top ones in my experience are OnlyFans and LoyalFans. Now, I don't have too much experience yet with LoyalFans in terms of subscription platform, only with the video sales. But if you want to go the route of also trying to create a fan base on one of those platforms or both, you can definitely do that as well. Those are the 2 platforms I would recommend. I know Fansly also exists, but the platform, to me, it looks so basic and dull, like it can't really be utilized that much. I haven't tried to use it, and then the customer service kind of like rubbed me off the wrong way, because when I asked like exactly what was and wasn't allowed in terms of some very specific things, they basically said, we can't tell you that because we don't have an answer for that or something. I don't know, it was very interesting. It is a red flag to me. So I am not going to be doing Fansly, and I'm not saying to do it or not to do it, but my recommendations, again, still, if you're going to be doing a subscription-based platform, I would say Loyal Fans and OnlyFans are the top two you should be looking at. And of course, you can do both if you want to. It's always just a matter of duplicating your work from one site to another because the type of content and the type of work is like the same. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is if you're going to be doing one, you might as well just do the other, same as like video platforms. And the very last platform that you might want to sign up to is Pornhub. I say this because it has very high traffic. I'm not saying to always be posting things for free or anything like that, but you can even be posting like your extended teasers and things like that because of the high traffic that Pornhub has. Not to say that you're going to be using it a lot or that you are going to be regular on it or that you are going to use it right away, but at least having an account there just simply because of the very high traffic. I think creating an account there might be beneficial for you. So yeah, that is all about building your brand and how to get started as an adult content creator. I hope this video was super helpful for you and you will be inspired to start your journey as an adult content creator. And if you are already an adult content creator, this can still give you so much useful information. And of course, the next video will be all about building your empire. I'm so excited for this next video. If you're enjoying this kind of content, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a big thumbs up and turn that notification button on down below as well so you don't miss the next video that I upload in this series. I am uploading every Monday and Friday at 12 p.m. PST all throughout the month of July. And if you have any questions that I haven't answered that are burning in your brain, please comment down below what your question is because all of these videos are pre-recorded, and then later towards the end of July I'm going to be filming a Q&A to answer all of your questions that you have for me. So do not hesitate, comment your question, I will get to it on my Q&A. So stay tuned for the next video. Bye for now.